Do you ever feel like you're just guessing your way through business decisions, secretly wondering if you're missing something crucial? I used to waste hours every week second guessing every decision until I started focusing on one thing, tracking the right data. And suddenly decisions became easy, clear, and profitable. So in this video, I'll show you the exact metrics that successful entrepreneurs obsess over, enabling them to grow faster and work less. And look, this isn't just some theory, it's a proven system that my clients use to take back control of their business and gain back hours each week whilst achieving record growth. So let's dive in. So most entrepreneurs think that success is about making the right moves, about choosing the right tactics, but here's the big problem. How do you even know which moves are the right ones? How do you know if your marketing is working, or if your operations are good, or if you're just wasting time? You see, without data, you're playing a guessing game. Like how on earth are you making decisions? You're just guessing. Now that guess might be a sort of educated guess and you think, oh, this should work better, but you're still guessing. You're trying to move the needle without knowing where the needle actually is. And look, sure, you could change your sales pitch, tweak your pricing, overhaul your onboarding, or even hire a new salesperson, but how do you know what actually drives results? Without the right data, you're just taking shots in the dark and hoping for the best. So let me be clear, okay? Guessing is expensive. It costs you time, it costs you money, it costs you peace of mind, because look, I know what it's like when you make a decision that you think is right, but you're not really sure, or you know you have to do something, but you're not sure what, so you just don't do anything. It's bloody frustrating. You can end up wasting months not moving anywhere because you don't make a damn decision. And really, complete side point, but most decisions are not catastrophic. If you do something and if it's wrong, it's the wrong thing to do, 99% of the time you can just reverse it. It's not actually that big a deal. And we do realize this after, but in the moment, whoa, in the moment we put so much pressure on ourselves to make the perfect decision or to wait until we have all the information, when in reality the best thing to do is to decide fast, and if it's wrong, just, fix it. So how do you actually use data to make decisions that work? Well, it all starts with recognizing that data it's not just something that business gurus tell you about for no reason. They're not just some nice to have or something, I don't need. Numbers and data are quite literally the lifeblood of your business. Every single successful business, and I mean every single one, obsesses over their numbers, because your numbers, your data are quite literally the only tangible reflection of your business. Like, sure, right, here's a good example. Your customers might say to you that they love your product or service, but how many of them buy again? That is the true reflection of how much they love what you do. They can say they love it, but if they don't buy again, they quite simply don't love it, okay? In business, numbers and data are your best friend. Now, I get that a lot of people don't like numbers and data. Most of my clients, even those making 8 figures, right, they don't. I have a bit of an unfair advantage with this aspect of business. I have a finance and economics degree, so I love numbers, I love spreadsheets, they bloody turn me on. But the good thing for you about my love for numbers is that I can make it super simple for you. I can't make you love them, I can't make you track them, I can't make you do anything with them. That's quite simply up to you to do, but I can make it as simple for you as possible to help you, okay? So when it comes to using data for decision making in business, one, start by asking the right decisions, okay? Every time you want to improve something or do something, whether you want to improve your sales, your marketing, your operations, or anything else, ask, what is the data saying? Because quite simply, if something's already working, you might think you need to change it, but the data tells you don't, and if it's working, you shouldn't change it, okay? You might end up breaking it. Now, there's a bit more nuance to that, because obviously if something's working, that doesn't mean it can't still be improved, but that's a good general rule of thumb. 2, don't just guess, okay? So if you're not getting the results that you want, don't assume that you need to work harder at a sales call or rework your product, okay? First, look at your data and ask, what is the real problem? For example, if your sales are low, maybe you think the problem is you're crap at closing, or that your sales reps are crap at closing, but the problem maybe isn't actually your sales calls. You might close at 50%, which is a really good close rate, and instead it could be that only 10% of the people who actually book calls with you show up, okay? So you have a 10% show up rate. You now know exactly where to focus your efforts on because you looked at the data, okay? If you didn't look at the data, you might spend months trying to, hire new sales reps or improve your ability to close and just actually waste a pile of effort. 3, track everything you can. So if it's measurable, track it. So from customer acquisition to customer retention, track each step in every process in your business that can be tracked with a number so that you can see what's really moving the needle. So now that we know why data is critical, let's get practical, because here's the truth, okay? Tracking data in general, is key, but knowing what to track is just as important. And I wish I could just hand you a universal list of metrics to track, but the truth is each business is unique. Your business processes, your funnels, your touch points are different from every other business out there, especially if you have, multiple offers which require multiple types of operations in your business. It's going to get pretty messy, okay? So I can't just hand you a universal list. But tracking the right metrics is really, it's more about understanding your business, where the bottlenecks are, what matters most to your business. And now in a few minutes, I will give you some metrics that I believe are crucial for the vast majority of businesses. But first, let me show you in a really simple way how you can figure out what you need to track in your business. So if we think about, running a marathon, to train effectively, you wouldn't just focus on one thing, like running faster, every week, okay? That might be the main metric you want to look at, your time, your heart rate, whatever it is. But instead, you would monitor multiple metrics. You would monitor your pace, your distance, your hydration, your recovery time, whatever else. I don't run, so I don't really know, but you get where I'm coming from, okay? You would keep track of multiple metrics to ensure you're on track for your goal. Running a business is the exact same, okay? You can't just track one thing. You need to track everything that affects your goal. So here's how you can build a system for tracking the right metrics in your business. 1, map out your systems. So start by breaking down each major function of your business. This will differ business to business, but your functions are the likes of sales, marketing, operations, finance. Every business will have them 4. Your business, depending on how it looks, size, what you do, etc., might have a couple of extra, but every single business will have them 4. Most businesses, basically 99% of businesses, will have less than 7 functions. Map out these systems, okay? Step 2, for each system, write out the processes and SOPs, your standard operating procedures. So don't skip this step, okay? Understanding the workflow in your business is the key to identifying the right data. Now, if you don't know how to map out your systems, processes, and SOPs, I actually made a video a few weeks back on how to do this in a super simple way. So I will link that at the end of this video. You can go check it out. I'll show you exactly how to do this, okay? 3, for each step in your SOP, process, or system, ask, can I track this with a number? For example, go through your sales process, look at each step and ask, can this be tracked with a number? If it can, then track it. Again, if you watch my systems breakdown video, this will be super clear. 4, use a Google Sheet to log everything. So don't overcomplicate this. I know a lot of people don't like spreadsheets, but once you get the hang of the basics, that's all you need. You don't need anything complicated in them. You don't need to run macros or do any complicated stuff. You just need the basics, okay? So don't overcomplicate this. Start super simple. We want to have a Google Sheet for each system. So a Google Sheet for marketing, for sales, for operations. You could combine the likes of marketing and sales into one sheet. That really depends on your business and if you have them as one function. Some businesses do. I prefer to keep them separate because I believe the goal of each function is different, so therefore it should have its own system. Anyway, complete side point. It is up to you, but you want a Google Sheet for each system. And in each sheet, you want to have a tab for each month. We then want every day of the month down the left-hand side and the metrics that we want to track from that system along the top. You also want a row called goal just above the date and just below the headings for the metrics, because what you want to do is you want to assign a goal for each metric, a level that you want it to be at. This way, if a metric isn't hitting the goal, you know exactly what you need to focus on. If you're unsure of what those goals should be, the best thing to do here is literally just ask ChatGPT to help you to define benchmarks. So as long as you give it some context around your business, your systems, the metric, and then ask it for what the goal for that metric should be, it's actually normally really good. So there is one problem with data now, and that is that data in the day-to-day isn't that accurate because there can be massive fluctuations. So if you try to make decisions based on the day-to-day data, you're going to make bad decisions and you'd be all over the place, because one day you might get 10 leads because you sent out an email to your list. The next day you might get 0 leads because you didn't send an email out to your list. Therefore, you might think that your lead generation process is broken, when in reality it's not. It's just a fluctuation due to the operations of your business. Hence, what we also want is an averages tab, which down the left-hand side, instead of days, we have each month, and under each metric, we just track the average from that month's tab. Now, I will give you a really quick run through on how to do this and how to get the average. So bear with me. If you're not interested in this, skip forward about 30 seconds if you know how to do this. If you don't, I'm going to explain it right now. The easiest way to work out this average is to go to each month's tab individually. Go to the bottom of each sheet, so just under where the month ends, and under each metric, type equals average, open bracket, then click the very first cell of that metric, then type a colon, then click the very last cell of that metric, then close bracket, and that will calculate the average for that metric for that month. You can then do that for all of the metrics of that month, and then go to your averages tab, go to the relevant month, go to the first metric, type equals, then go to the relevant month's individual tab, click the relevant metrics average, and then enter, and then do all that for all the metrics of each month. That is as simple as you can do that, okay? This way you can go to this averages tab, you get a high level overview of all your metrics and more specifically where they're trending each month, either toward or away from the goal, because this way we can see trends that are not influenced by the day-to-day fluctuations, and your decisions based on these trends will be so much better. And so you want to do this for every major function or system in your business, tracking all the metrics that can be tracked. 5, create a scorecard. So what you can also do is create a Google Sheet called a scorecard, which is a high-level overview of your most critical metrics from your systems, and it gives you a snapshot of your business health, making it easy to see where you're winning and where you need to improve. Now, if you want me to show you the best way to make a business scorecard, because it's one of the most important things you can do for your business, then just let me know in the comments below. I'll make a whole video showing you how to build one. You've got your data by now, okay, and you're tracking the right metrics. But the real secret to making this work is consistency. Tracking your metrics once a month or whenever things go wrong, it won't cut it, okay? It won't work. It's just like checking your car's fuel level only after you've already run out of gas. It's bloody stupid, okay? So if you're only reviewing your metrics sporadically, you're flying blind, it will cost you, and you're basically still guessing. And look, there's no point in having the data, not using it, and for the 2 minutes it takes every day to fill in the data, it's one of the highest leverage things you can do if you want to grow faster and work less. So let's go back to that marathon example. What if you only checked your pace after every 5-mile stretch? You'd have no idea whether you're on track to hit your time goal, or you'd likely be running at too fast a pace and burn out before the race is over. Business works the same way. You need to monitor your metrics frequently to stay on track. So how do you actually stay on top of your data and avoid mistakes? Well, the first step is to update your data daily or weekly. This is not optional, okay? If you don't measure it regularly, you'll miss the trends, and when things go wrong, it's too late to fix them. The more regularly you update your data, the better pulse you have on your business, and the more in control you'll both feel and actually will be. So every day fill in the data for your business, and at the very least every week go and fill in the data for the past week. You know, if you want to leave it to Sunday and just do all the data for the past week, you can, but if you don't do it either daily or weekly, you'll not be doing it regularly enough to have any sense of control or idea of how the business is actually going. Step 2, analyze trends, not daily fluctuations. So we want to focus on the big picture. A bad day doesn't mean the strategy is wrong, because it's really about the long-term trend, which is why we have the averages tab in each sheet and why it's so important. Step 3, identify the biggest bottleneck. So what you might find is that multiple metrics are below the goal that you have for those metrics, which it creates a question of which do you work on fixing first? Well, we want to identify the bottleneck. This is typically, but not always, the metric that is earliest in the system, as it limits the throughput to the rest of the system. But it could also be a metric that is far, far, far below its goal. Again, the only way to really tell which is a bottleneck is to look at the data, but typically you want to work on fixing the metric below its goal that is earliest in the system or furthest below its goal. Step 4, make your team accountable. So if you have a team, assign someone to fill out the data for their area. Like if you have a marketing manager, it's their responsibility to ensure the marketing system data is completed and filled in. Make this clear to them, okay? So we've covered why data is powerful, how to track it, but what metrics should you actually focus on? Well, here's the thing, like I said, every business is different. There's no one size fits all list of metrics to track, but some metrics are nearly universal. They apply to almost every business. So let's break down what those essential metrics are. Revenue and profit, okay? These are the obvious ones. These are your baseline. Without tracking these, you basically don't even have a business. Conversion rate. So how well are your leads turning into customers? This is critical. Customer acquisition cost, or CAC. How much does it cost to acquire a new customer? Now, this can be zero. Like, I don't do any paid ads or paid media, so all my traffic is organic for my business, so my CAC is zero. Lifetime value, LTV. How much money does the average customer bring in over their lifetime with your business? Traffic. Are you generating enough traffic? Because without this, nothing else matters, because your sales might be low, but yet your sales metrics might actually be really good and on target. The issue could be that you're just not getting enough traffic through the system. Client success and retention. So if your clients aren't getting results and then sticking around, that's a huge red flag that something in your operations is pretty much messed up. If you want to take control of your business, it's time to stop guessing and start tracking the right metrics. With data, you'll make decisions with confidence and precision. You'll stop second guessing yourself, and instead you'll be able to make clear, actionable moves toward growth, because you can quite literally say, oh, if I do this, this changes, or if I stop doing Y, I get more X. And there's way less pressure on you of trying to figure out if a decision worked out, because you can just check the data. You don't have to worry about it in your mind. Just check the data. If it's a good decision, keep going. If it's a bad decision, no worries, just change it. Now, like I said, every business needs to track different metrics, but those 6 metrics are your foundation that almost every business needs to track. So start tracking these, but also figure out what metrics that you need to track in your business. Start tracking them, watch how much easier decisions become and how much more in control you feel. Of course, to track the right data of your business, you do need systems in your business. So click the video that's on screen right now and I'll show you how to build systems in your business.